Hello and welcome to the Rise Cancer Self-Care Support Group. Today we are talking about radical gratitude. It is November and the season of giving thanks, and it can be really hard to find gratitude or to feel a lot of gratitude when you're living with cancer and so many things feel so hard and so hopeless and just so many really difficult emotions. And so I thought that for November, it would be great to talk about gratitude and not just gratitude, but radical gratitude. So, what is radical gratitude? Radical gratitude is a mindset of being thankful for all of life's experiences, including positive and negative, as a way to grow and find deeper meaning. It is a conscious choice to find gratitude in challenges, in pain, in your obstacles, viewing them as opportunities for growth rather than sources of bitterness. And that doesn't mean that we don't feel the pain, or we ignore it, or we try to not think about it, or that it's not that. It's the opposite, actually. We really need to um, acknowledge and be able to speak about and say how we're feeling and say how difficult things are and acknowledge the difficulty, the pain, the exhaustion, the stress of having cancer. But in all of that, in the pain, in the challenges, we can find gratitude. Not saying it's going to be easy. It is that conscious choice. It really takes a lot of effort, but we can find things to be grateful for. And then this is just another um, definition of radical gratitude that I really liked. Radical gratitude means you can experience gratitude even in your worst moments of pain. Gratitude is a great weapon against cynicism and hopelessness. And that's true, and that's so important because when you're told you have cancer, you can feel very hopeless, especially as for many of us, the cancer you're having a reoccurrence or you're stage 4. And it's hard. It's hard to keep that hope, keep that positivity. And but it's important. It's so important that we do keep our hope. But it might change and it might look very different than our life before cancer, and how we viewed gratitude and how we viewed hope even. So I want to talk some more about radical gratitude and what it really is and how to do it, how to find gratitude in your worst moments. This is a quote I really like and was very appropriate for tonight, that says, "You don't have to be positive all the time. It's okay to feel sad, angry, or frustrated." So, radical gratitude, it's not, oh, I'm only gonna focus on the positive. I'm not gonna acknowledge the difficulty. I'm not gonna think about it. You can't do that when you have cancer. You you can't not think about it. It affects everything, every part of your life. how you feel, just everything. And so you're not we're not going to be positive all the time, and that's definitely not what I'm encouraging. Um, it is absolutely okay to feel all of your feelings, no matter how low it might go. It's okay. I think, in fact, it's important that we acknowledge how we're really feeling, and we can talk about that, and so that we can process how we're feeling and work through it to get to that place of gratitude. So if you're not feeling grateful, that is okay, and you shouldn't feel bad about that. It is absolutely okay to be sad and mad and um and struggling to feel grateful, or struggling to keep your hope. That is okay. And some days, sometimes we're all going to um have the really difficult emotions. And again, it's not to ignore them or push them to the side, but it's to really acknowledge them and work through it. So in order to do radical gratitude, it really starts with radical acceptance. And radical acceptance is difficult. It's not something you can do overnight. It's you can't just even, decide, okay, it really does take a lot of effort and time. But it's something that I have worked really hard on, and it has significantly improved my mental health and my ability to keep going and to find joy, and to to just to live with cancer. But what is radical acceptance? I think we've all heard of acceptance, um, and a lot of times people will tell me, oh, I know I need to just let it go. I need to just get over it. But that's not really, that's not the radical part of it. The radical part of it is truly accepting and being okay with all of your feelings, everything that is wrong, no matter how much you don't like it or wish it could be different, but to truly, fully, radically accept your life exactly as it is. Like I said, that's not just like, oh, I accept it, it's whatever, let me move on, let me forget about it. No, it's accepting it, that it is a part of your life, your story, your everyday, and how are you going to move forward with it, with all the pain, with all the difficulty. So, radical acceptance is a distress tolerance skill to stop pain from turning into suffering. And this is just so, so important when you have cancer, or really, chronic illness, and the disabilities, and just all of it, um, because it is painful and it's extremely difficult, and you can't just fix it. You can't just change it, and it can definitely become suffering. I will openly say I have struggled immensely with my own depression, anxiety, anger. Um, and it's not easy to pull yourself out of that. And even when you do get to a better place, it is still continual work to not slide back down into that dark hole. And there was a time when yes, I was suffering physically, mentally, emotionally, and in every single aspect of my life, of my energy, my ability to do the career that I loved and devoted my life to, my ability to parent, to everything. And I was suffering, like I said, really in a lot of pain, and um, a lot of mental suffering. And I don't feel that way anymore. I have cancer. It is incurable stage 4 cancer. That That hasn't changed, but my perspective has dramatically changed. And it really started with the radical acceptance. So, the first step is really just admitting to yourself, reminding yourself continually that reality cannot be changed. We cannot wish away or pray away or do anything that just ta-da and we're cured. We can't do that. There are medicines and there are treatments and there are things we can do, but I will always have cancer. I cannot change that no matter how much I wish I could. And so you've got to start there. Just just with that reminder of yourself that whatever your difficulties is, because many of us, I'm sure cancer is not your only challenge. It's a big one, but it's not the only challenge in your life. So everything, all of your challenges, a lot of them, it cannot be changed. And we need to accept our whole self. That's mind and body exactly as is right now, today, exactly as it is. Flawed as it may be, broken as you may feel, accepting our whole self exactly as it is, and really practicing non-judgmental self-talk. So we're able to talk about our cancer, talk about our pain, talk about our mental wellness, honestly, but without judgmental self-talk, because I know I had very negative self-talk in the past, and I've had to work really hard on improving my own self-talk. So just being able to, like I said, acknowledge how you're feeling, write it down, say it out loud, or however it's best for you to express yourself. But to be able to put it out there without judging yourself, that this is just how it is. This is how you are feeling. This is what you're going through. It is. But without beating yourself up over it, or, because we can get stuck, thinking like, but why did this happen? Or just wishing that things could be different when we really know that they can't. But the non-judgmental self-talk part can take a lot of effort, a lot of work. But so it's also super important that we express our feelings, our sadness, our anger, our grief, whatever we're feeling. And it's not always easy because these feelings can be so heavy, so overwhelming. And so again, finding your way that is comfortable for you to express yourself. Maybe you need to talk to other people. Maybe you need to write it down. Maybe you need to cry or scream or, but just to really, really express your feelings, even the ones that are negative feelings or really difficult feelings. We need to be able to express them, and so that we can process them instead of repressing them. And this might very much be a learned behavior for many of us. I know I grew up, very much being told continually, don't make a scene, don't make a fuss, don't, that when we were having big emotions, when we were struggling with something, we were not encouraged to talk it through. And, it was just, hey, suck it up, get over it, you know. Again, don't make a scene, don't cause attention. And so we learn to really bottle up emotions, especially the difficult ones. But when you do that, they're still in there. If you're bottling them up, they're in there. They are caught, trapped within your being, and you don't get rid of them because you don't talk about them or you don't tell anyone about it. It stays with you, and can get much, much worse because you don't process it. You just keep stuffing it down. And I know for me, I was doing that for a long time because, especially with cancer, because I felt like I should be grateful. I should be grateful that I am alive. I should be grateful for the medicine. I should, and so every time when the feelings would come up that I was angry or I was overwhelmingly sad, I kept telling myself, no, you can't think that way. You shouldn't think that way. Don't feel that. You gotta, you gotta get over it because you should just be grateful. But I wasn't. And I, I mean, I was grateful for many things, but I couldn't really feel that and access that because the anger, the fear, the sadness was so much, and I wasn't expressing it. I wasn't working through it. I wasn't letting it out. I didn't want other people to worry about me. I didn't want, I didn't want to be ungrateful, but I couldn't get to actually being grateful until I really, really gave myself permission to feel my own feelings. Particularly anger, I think, is the one that I struggled with the most. That every time it came up, I just was like, oh, no, 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 no. You can't feel that way. You can't feel that way. You should be grateful. And I don't remember what exactly happened, but one day I finally just gave myself permission to be angry. I, because I do have things to feel angry about. I wasn't being ungrateful. I just was just struggling. And the more that I have reached out and done these support groups and connected with other um, people living with cancer, with other people who really understand, and I've really been able to say how I'm feeling completely with no sugarcoating, no beating around the bush, but just really, really, truly say how I'm feeling. That's when and again, it's not overnight, but in doing that, and once I allowed myself to just really feel how I felt, that's when I was able to really get down to the root of things of what am I really angry about? It's not just cancer. It's not just, oh, I'm stressed. You can really dig into it to figure out what exactly is bothering you and what can be done about it, or what do you need to say about it. And yeah, that's how I really worked through a lot of anger that I had. And I don't feel that way anymore. And there was a time when I was deeply, deeply depressed, and I don't feel that way anymore. I get upset, I cry sometimes, I have feelings, but because I'm not repressing it, I'm not bottling it up, I'm really working through it and able to express it, it's genuinely become where I can deal with it. And a lot of that anger I've let go of. I really have. And that's amazing to me. Um, and then the last part, and very important as well, is to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. This is hard, so hard. But when we put our focus on what we can do, what we can control, that will make us feel more empowered. That will remind us there's things we can do that can, bring us more joy or more peace. Um, and letting go of the things we cannot change so that we're not spending so much brain power focused, dwelling on things that we cannot change, no matter what. And this for me has really significantly helped me to be present, which is hard because again, there's so much going on in my head about the cancer and the scans and the bills and the appointments and um but I've been working really hard on being present and it's helping a lot to find small joys, to be in the moment, to again, feel like I'm still here, I'm alive. There are things I can do and enjoy, and putting my focus there has really, really changed so much for me. Um, and it has stopped my pain from becoming suffering because like I said, I have this group, I have people I can talk to, I have support, I am um just mentally so much better than I used to be because I am actually acknowledging my feelings, processing them, working through them, and like I said, just putting our energy into what we can do, um, has just been a huge shift for me. There's a quote that I love that says, "What we focus on grows." And it's true. It's true. I know this. I deeply, painfully know this. Um, and even, the mind-body connection and everything. When I was deeply, deeply depressed, my pain was so much worse. It really was. And I have pain, of course, but it is different now. I do feel better. I'm doing more things to make myself feel better. I'm resting more and just so many little things, small, but consistent self-care. And it just yeah, I really try to, yeah, to put my energy into what I can do. And this image might be kind of hard to read, but that's okay. We don't need to read every word. What's what's important and why I like this is because, it says I am grateful for, and then there's just so many things on here. And some that, jump out to me. Food, medicine, healing, art, music, community, sunlight. Sisters. So many things, big and small things. But I want to remind you that on your worst, hardest, saddest day, there is always something to be grateful for. And it doesn't always feel that way. Um, and you don't have to be positive every minute of the day. You're not going to be. I'm not. But when I'm sinking, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm really, again, having really difficult days and feelings, I do try to remind myself of all the little things that I am grateful for. We are here. We are alive, I am not dead yet, and I don't want to spend whatever time that I do have focusing on my pain and what went wrong. And, I want to remind myself of all the little things that I am truly, truly grateful for. And the more that you think about it, or maybe even write them down, the more you realize and you remember there is always something to be grateful for. And another kind of part of this or thing that I think is so important is to build community or to build our village. Um, because people don't always reach out. People don't know what to say, what to do. It's very intimidating and scary and difficult for all of our loved ones when we have cancer. They worry about us and it's um we don't want to worry them and then we feel bad and then they feel bad and it's difficult, and not all of us have family that we can turn to, or family that really can handle the difficulty of our diagnosis. And so I have learned that we have to build our own village. And when we do, that support is life-changing. And but so how do you do that? You really do have to reach out, and again, hopefully you have friends and family that love you and support you, but that isn't always enough. Again, it can be very difficult for them, for our loved ones to talk about our cancer, or maybe, so many reasons why your family or old friends might not be there, distance, time, etc. So you have got to reach out. And this could be, getting to know your neighbors, so that you can, share resources or um, whatever it might be, watch each other's pets, water the plants, or borrow a cup of sugar, like the, that sounds so old timey, but no, really, like we can reach out and get to know the people that are around us. I've had to do that, and it's actually been great. And I don't always want to, like go make friends. But we have to sometimes. And so another thing is, following your own interest, right? So joining like hobby clubs. I know we don't always have a lot of energy to go and do things. So, I put some suggestions here that are like low maintenance hobbies, it could be a book club, it could be writing, journaling, poetry, workshops, it could be art, things that you can do while sitting down, things that you can do at home. There's a lot of these types of meetups online on Zoom. I did um, some online art classes, um, and it was awesome. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm not like I'm not an artiste, but it was just like really therapeutic to do the painting, and on Zoom, and they would, like play classical music and we would art and they would have prompts, and but it was so, you would get so focused on the art that for that 90 minutes or 60 minutes, whatever it was, like I really didn't think about my cancer. I didn't, because I was like focused on something else and I was creating and I was so and that's I like art, but whatever it is that you are into, um I think it's really important that we find and stay involved in like our hobbies and our interests. It can be so hard because of our energy and again, like not wanting to go out also and be with a lot of people or and germs or just our mobility. It's a lot of I get it. It can be really hard to like go do things. But that's why I'm saying, there's so many classes and workshops and groups online, where you can do it at home and it can be again, you're sitting down, you're you're resting, but you're doing those things that make you feel alive, and bring you joy. So, so important. And also, really building that community of support with other people who have cancer. So if you can, attending cancer retreats or conferences, there are lots of online support groups. Our group is meets on Zoom every week, once a week. We are here, and we have the Facebook page, but there's also lots of other Facebook groups or, online forums where you can share and learn and connect and ask questions. And again, you don't have to leave your home, right? And also, I think it's super important that we make that effort to stay connected with our friends, old friends, new friends, cancer friends, whoever, friends. And again, that might be just by text or email or whatever works for you. I know I don't go out a lot. I don't, go out and do a lot of activities with friends, because I'm really tired and my feet hurt and all the, but I do make an effort to text my friends and my cousins or and just literally play like I miss you, I'm thinking of you, or like this meme made me think of you, and so send them something to make them smile or laugh, and it's not every day, and I'll often think for days, for weeks, like, oh, I want to text so and so, an old friend, and I'll forget, but eventually I do, and it could be months go by. It could be probably years sometimes since I've seen some of my friends, but they're there. They are there, and it can be hard, but the more that we reach out and the more that we just stay connected, it really, really helps. And again, it can just be by text. We don't have to, I'm not going out to go do anything adventurous, but it's important to stay connected. And then, especially, at this time of year with Thanksgiving coming up, but all year long, really, it helps us to help others. And sometimes we feel like, oh my gosh, what can I do? I am struggling. I am tired. I'm in pain. I am, I have so many doctor's appointments and so much, like, I don't, what could I do? But I promise you that there are ways to help. And so these are just some ideas, but again, it's what works for you, what works for your life and your capacity, whatever that is. Um, but especially with this time of year and the holidays coming up, um, some things we can do, volunteering at food banks, or again, if you can't be there volunteering on your feet, serving or being in large crowds and all that things, just even donating, donating canned foods that you've got, or if you're able to give financially. I know the medical bills are crazy. So, again, maybe you don't have the capacity to donate, but to just to give what you can, even if it's donating your old jackets and scarves and hats and things to the shelters because the winter cold months are here, and there are people there are people with less than us. There are people that don't have what we have, even if we don't have that much. But it can feel really, really good to help other people and to know that you to know that you still can help other people. And just sharing what we have. I've gotten to know my neighbors, and we sometimes they barbecue and they bring over food. We have extras food and we give it to them, or I like to bake for the holidays, and I try to make extra stuff and drop it off with my neighbors. I'm just sharing what we have. It's not much, it's not extravagant, but it means a lot to them. And it means a lot to me when you know, when they bring me something that I wasn't expecting. Just yeah. It's, just sharing what we have, even if it's very little, can mean a lot. And just, gifting and giving. It's that season of giving to others, and um and also, really finding that gratitude, that Thanksgiving, right? What are we thankful for? Um, Big things, small things. Um, there's always something. There's always something to be grateful for. And so I just want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, and I hope that you have a wonderful holiday. Maybe it's with family, maybe it's a friends giving, maybe not. Maybe you are have a small group, or you're isolated. But you are here. You are alive.
And I am thankful for that. I am thankful that I'm alive. I'm thankful that you are alive. And I hope that you can find and remember and focus on all the little things that you are thankful for.